Record. or I turned myself to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we'll have more people here.
Yeah. Should we get about 15 more minutes or something?
I would do a hot spot.
Hot spots.
Hey, how you doing?
There you were. We were just like getting kind of what people gonna show up.
Especially me, 'cause I'm usually late. So the fact that
I'm usually right on time.
I'm here and nobody else is like, that's such an unusual feeling.
Started work 2 hours early and you're still already gone.
I got up at 5 a.m. It's an hour.
Yeah, we were up at 6. I was like at 8 o'clock. I was like, all right, time to go downstairs and get the business day started. And then I was like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. We still not have home.
Well, I spent years.
We had Jewish festival on Sunday, and then we're turning around and doing Pittsfield Wednesday through Saturday. And so it's that quick turnaround time that we're having to remake screens and get ready, and we've got new inventory coming in. I've got old inventory going out for return. Super quick turnaround.
You guys gonna make any room for the Steampunk Festival or the Quincy, there's a cosplay convention in Quincy this week too.
Oh,
If
Yeah.
it's this
really?
week,
And steampunk, you said?
Yeah, so Steampunk is going on, I think, Friday through Monday.
Where in Quincy?
Campbell.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then, or they call it Big River Fest or whatever is the plain name. And then in Quincy, they've got some kind of mini convention going on there with a couple of movie stars and stuff there.
no, we had at least three or four events this month, and then we've got 3 events in September and 3 events in October.
Good.
On top of all of our client work, and so I'm like, we have 1 weekend off a month at this point, but we have no events. And so I'm like, I would like to sit down. And Dre hasn't been here for the last 2 months, so it's been all on me.
I wondered about how to see Fred.
Yeah, no, he was in Reno building an art park for Burning Man.
Oh, it's.
Yeah, it was a really cool.
Tell him
park.
jealous and went Burning Man, but.
He didn't go to
He
Burning Man.
didn't go to. Okay.
No, Burning Man's happening right now.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he was just doing the build.
It may end up being the last Burning Man, since right off the bat, the first day they had somebody die.
This year? Oh, I haven't seen that.
So that means we have to set the burn moment.
Or we could just start the Burning Woman.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the very first day some woman died.
Wow.
Investigation.
Oh. I don't know, it's, all of their stuff is just now making it to like my TikTok page. And so I'm just getting like pieces of like people coming in right now. But also I'm like, I've never been, I have no interest in going, I'm not super interested in that at the festival.
I'm not on TikTok, I don't do Facebook, so I don't do that, I just constantly reading headlines.
Yeah,
So I have like about 7 or 8 different news sources, and I'm just constantly scrolling and going.
yeah.
Shall we wait a little bit longer?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Shall we do?
I mean, cause who else would be here, just Liza?
I never got any additional information to the individual that works for River's Edge. I don't know what's going on with that. I haven't talked to the mayor about it either, so I guess I'll try to reach out to him again.
Or
the muscle memory is not exactly there, so if that agenda isn't professional, sorry. I try to keep things kind of old fashioned.
You know, yeah. Hotspot this thing.
So should she start with the business? Okay. Mayor brought it to me some time ago about a chairperson, selecting a chairperson. Historically, who was the last? Susan? Okay. And then, I guess it's just a little bit of discussion on social media pages. I had the Instagram page for a while. I just went ahead and made that Facebook page. Whoever has a Facebook at the end of this meeting, whoever wants to be assigned to it, or Instagram, I can do that Instagram. It's all owned by Meta, so I should be able to make you guys in some form of capacity all commentators or whatever. And then, unfortunately, council was Monday. So I guess we have to wait another month. I don't know how you guys can do this, but, we have to discuss what would be the appropriate, hosting provider for the new tourism website. And then the budget, I believe is, that was just fancy wording in that email I sent out. That was on the actual budget sheet, the consultant thing. I think that is in fact the actual tourism budget, and I don't think it's for.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure where that 10,000 was coming from. Based on what I knew of the previous budget. That's where my.
If you need to, in terms of the approval on web hosting and that kind of stuff, there is an excellent chance, I'd say about 80 to 100% chance that there's going to be an emergency council meeting tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
And maybe throw that in sense. Do that to follow.
Awesome.
Save that month.
Okay, and I also want to follow back up on the bank statements that you requested. I have not received one on that, but I have informed the treasurer that we'd like those.
Yeah, just so we can see what we still have outstanding from previous administration.
As far as chair goes, I don't think I can be chair, so I'm out of the running. So I can say it's up to you two.
I'm gonna be honest, we're gonna be gone for at least November, December, if not through January.
Okay.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hey,
Good, how are you?
you want to try the service?
No, I don't. I have way too much already. I just have a quick question for Chase.
Yes,
You don't know anywhere I find digital.
digital recorder?
Mine for working the battery corroded and cleaned it out.
When's the deadline on
That's the only reason I'm interrupting you.
that? Oh, okay. A digital recorder,
I can't think of anywhere we have one.
You
would a cell phone work?
say, on my cell phone, I thought, audio recording.
Like a separate?
I could use my phone. It was
Well,
it was just not my first.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because there's an old building inspector phone that Charlie might know that's not being used for anything at all. Might be able to use as a video recorder. There's a Motorola phone that's not used at all.
Charlie had it.
She should. It belonged to the last building inspector, but they just left it.
Sorry for
a phone.
Yeah, so we won't be here after our business.
Okay,
So would you love to be chairperson of this?
sure. Okay, those in favor of me being a chair for the tourism committee? Okay.
Although I'm not sure how to go to this.
Yeah, do we have to,
All those
I
opposed?
The other question is, I mean, I don't know.
say, do we have to quorum to
I was gonna say,
vote?
do we have a quorum? I mean, I don't know, we're putting a wrench in the works. But
No,
Well, I mean, I think as long as you vote for yourself, that's still 2 out of what we're supposed to have is 5, well, no, because that still wouldn't be majority, yeah, there would have to be 3 of us. Out of the 5
We
people.
can table it.
Well, because I don't know if it's supposed to be out of the 5 people we're supposed to have, but technically there's only 3 of us on committee, so as long as both of us vote, that is still majority.
Okay.
Right? I don't know which way that goes, of, if we have a full committee, that's 5 members, but technically we only have 3 right now, so our 2 votes would be majority regardless of how that's
Well, I
voted.
think to those other 2 people that are supposedly joining the committee.
The
Sure.
person from River's Edge has not showed up to a meeting yet, so I hesitate to count them as a member, just because we've never put eyes on them. And then Liza was here at the last meeting. And I texted her, but I haven't gotten anything back. So,
Okay, well, here's what I'll do. So just for safety's sake, since the vote took place, we could say, well, I mean, regardless of what I say, I'd still have to make sure that I send an email out and see if those statutes are correct anyway. So I mean.
right, yeah, I would
Right.
just try to find out what our quorum was.
All right. That's not good. And then, so would we like to go over business? Okay, so I think the last time we discussed, which was a while back, you were talking about some cool out of town ideas to kind of connect to other businesses or maybe festivals or something to that extent. And you were proposing some kind of sponsorship idea.
Yes, so I've not had the chance to look into that, I can just add that on my list.
I
Like,
will-
maybe sponsorships, because what would we wanna start out by just doing whatever the event's lowest tier sponsorship is? For now, just to see if that, because it's gonna be hard to see what our ROI is on any of it.
Yes.
But I think it is still something that would ultimately not hurt us for people to at least see us on a banner or on a koozie and be like, oh, right, Louisiana. You know, like, still subliminal messaging, if you will.
Yeah, and I will tell you guys, I went and spoke to the lady over at the pop-up shop over here in the corner, and she was telling me that people are actually finding out about this town. I guess there's some old flyers or signs, maybe down in St. Louis or something, and they're coming across that and they're piquing their interest somehow, and they're coming through here. And she said there's been people from California and like Washington come up through here, and they're all like people from out of town. And I said, that's good. That's like what we want to hear, especially from a business like that. And so, I don't know if there is something grandfathered in, maybe on the highway or other places down. I don't know anything about like how far out it goes, but is it possible that there's stuff from like prior tourism that's been,
Like in St. Louis proper?
maybe, or just something, is there something that has advertised this town that is, we're not aware of, that might be like a legacy item? Okay.
Yeah, not that I know of, like, I mean, I know we just put our billboard up by Moscow Mills, but that's not really in St. Louis, and that billboard is.
For the business.
No, for tourism, I don't think it is what size that. So it's not like long, it's short, billboard, and it's on the other side. Yeah, and like, we were driving past it every weekend, and I was like, yeah, and I finally saw it, and I was like, I know that's this. So,
You know, your list of stuff is a real good brainstorming, and that's what I was wondering, if maybe what we should do is brainstorm, what could we do, what can we do, what do we have funds for? What would be the most effective out of that list once we come through the brainstorm of ideas? Does that sound like something to do?
Mhm.
I mean, Louisiana has, you know, a few festivals. We've got the Color Fest, we've got the Home Tours, we've got the Christmas Parade. I don't know, considering how well things went over last year, whether they'll do spring fling again. But there are those tourism events, if you will. But what, to my mind, is that we should be doing things that have an all year round appeal as well as the seasonal appeals.
Yes.
Well, and what we found is that that's tough because we cannot promote any businesses as tourism. And so that's super limiting.
The thing that you probably heard it in minutes on council meetings, to the point I feel like I'm a broken record. But when you come in on Highway 54, you get the nice signs as you come across. And they're promoting the historic element of Louisiana, which in some ways I have a little bit of a problem from a marketing point of view, because I'd like to promote that Louisiana isn't just a has-been, that Louisiana has a future. And that's one of the reasons why when I talked with Tim at length about different ideas for slogans, I came up with the idea of small town, big, and then fill in the blank after that. Big ideas, big convention, big celebration, big opportunity, but it's small town, big, whatever. But it's hopefully being a little more forward looking.
Could we do some kind of campaign of like walk the Meskers? Because like the buildings are all Mesker buildings and it's still historic downtown. But without saying that, people were like, oh, what are the Meskers? Oh, that's the buildings where all of our cute little mom and pop shops are.
But if we do things like that, to me, what would be really good is if there was a way that we could have background information about the different buildings and either have it on a printed brochure that we give to people, or if it's recorded so that they can listen as they walk and they can.
Well, a lot of the buildings do have those QR codes and those link you to the history of that building. So as you're walking, you can scan them as you go.
That's going to be on my list. Listen to the QR histories.
I don't know, we might want to check the closet downstairs by old council. Because there might be a brochure in there that tells you where those QR codes are.
I just wondered who recorded them.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
they say, how long are they? Anything along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know if they're necessarily like recordings, but they go to, it's a website that Susan and her daughter run for free. They do all of that research in their own time and have set that up and paid for those plaques as a donation to the community.
Anyway, back to what I was, on Highway 54, we've got that, at least we've got a decent looking couple of signs as they come in. Highway 79, on the other hand, this is the broken record part, looks terrible as you drive into town.
Yes.
The buildings are broken down. You look over to the right and you see the burnt down, ice plant. And the sign that when you come in to see, the sign is terrible. It looks like it's, peeling faded paint, as well as the sign itself looks like it's about to fall over. These are, to me, one of the things that tourism could do, but it's certainly not be a bad idea and wouldn't be promoting any specific businesses. We could try to upgrade the entrance area to the city from the Highway 79 direction. And the reason why this would be a great time to do it really soon because the Highway 79 entrance to the city is a tourism entrance. Because people from St. Louis, St. Charles area, they drive up from Highway 79 to see Fall Colors. And it is such a pretty drive. And so they will come through here, and they may come through here and stop here, or they may come through here and then continue on the way up to Hannibal, and then spend the time in Hannibal and go home from there. But it is a tourism drive. I mean, when I was a kid, and my parents lived in St. Peter's at that point, we would drive up here every once in a while just to be able to do that Highway 79 drive. No real specific purpose except to see the scenery.
Yeah.
And so that would be one of the things on my list is the beautify Highway 79 entrance, and second, sign improve. So at least we have that. Other things along the way is that we could then maybe put a billboard on Highway 79. Billboards. So that it promotes us for people who are coming up in the fall.
Do we know what that like metric looks like as to how far away you can put your billboard to still be effective?
I know that my son flies occasionally for the guy that owns Jungle Law in Kansas City. His metric is 200 miles. I have a feeling he's just wasting.
Oh my goodness, the Jungle Law sign, that's in my brain.
I think he's pushing his limits quite a bit. I've always heard 75 miles is pretty much the limit. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I figured you would know that number.
Yeah. Obviously, there are those who
Go further,
go
yeah.
much further. Merrimack Caverns is another one. 400 miles.
I wanted to interject, so I haven't seen, but this is actually something that was discussed many months ago, and I was kind of racking my brain, but I picked it up from the specifics of it from those people came from Missouri Life and they're talking. I was picking up on that lingo and stuff, and I remember there's something that you can do. I think it's the Meta Business Suite. What you can do is you can set a radius around your town, and you can expand it and pay so many dollars a month when people come through and they hit that geofence that you advertise from. And then it will bother them for like however long until they decide to save it. But that's just an idea in case people forget. But I don't know how much it costs.
That would be good to know. And a good possibility. The other thing is, obviously I want to say this because I'm into radio, is radio spots that promote the different events that we're having so that people from outside the area know that the event is going on. I'm doing a spot for Color Fest free. And I think AJFM is running for free that we can promote. But honestly, I'd like to see us try to have that radio spots running in Quincy and Hannibal as well. And possibly, I don't know if there's a radio station in the St. Charles area. St. Charles is great. So, but we certainly could get Hannibal.
Did we see about going, maybe not quite St. Charles, but maybe like Troy?
Yeah,
I don't know what the radio looks like.
Yeah, I'm not sure what radio station is in Troy, or if there is one. I'm pretty sure there's one in Warrenton.
Yeah, Warrenton.
Yeah. Obviously, in Columbia, there is. I don't know if we would draw anybody from Columbia.
I know we had been testing the Columbia print and web ads last year. I don't think we got much out of it, because we did test with the Columbia Missourian,
Uh-huh.
we tested their email campaigns and a few website ads, and I don't feel like we really saw a lot back from that.
And in a lot of ways, it's kind of like St. Louis, in Kansas City, but especially St. Louis. There's a St. Louis snobbishness that I've encountered my entire career. Now, you're not from St. Louis, possibly no. And so therefore, I don't know if we get much luck. Some of that is also true in Columbia in terms of, well, Columbia, why would we want to go out of town?
I mean,
But certainly, Moberly and Mexico.
yeah,
And Mexico certainly has radio stations.
I mean, we have a really good reaction to when we say we're from Louisiana, when we're out in like the Moscow Mills area and like Old Monroe. I think a lot of people who either grew up here or near here went there. So that might be a good target the millennials for nostalgia area for us.
Mhm.
Because we do a lot of events out there, and every time they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" And we say Louisiana, they're like, "I love it there," and we go, "Please come back."
So, again, I admit, I lack of knowledge on radio stations. Very. Um,
Because do we want to do any print ads for us?
with, um, it's a really good question. Yeah. Because I don't know how many people read the local newspaper. And we have such limited funds, that I don't want to spend the money and then find out that it's just not waste, right? I think I'd rather see the money spent on radio than I would on the newspaper. But the same token, with Missouri Life, I think Missouri Life is a potential buy for us. But I'd say the only thing right now that we have that would be worth advertising on a statewide basis is teletext. But that's probably it. Another, besides Missouri Live, AAA has a magazine, if you, AAA Traveler magazine. And they actually have a fairly decent distribution of that. And I think that they actually may be a little less expensive than worthwhile. So it might be worth checking them. But again, that is most definitely statewide, if not in the case of AAA Traveler, it's more multi-state.
Right.
It's, right, it's Illinois, Indiana, Missouri. The, again, the only thing I can see that we would, at this point in time, that we want to advertise is teletext.
Right.
For
that, for print.
Can I circle back to the billboard you're talking about? Okay. So I don't know how often you guys go out to 54 around out of town, but who owns or who has possession or who put the really old, like completely sun-dried that says visit LouisianaMo.com out there on 54? It's like on a building.
Oh, that like little yellow one?
Yeah.
Nobody knows, because I asked about it, because we had driven past it one time. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to Kaylee and I said, "Oh, is this our new offices?" And she was like, "No, I don't know what that is." But I'm like, "Well, but that was our website at the time." But yeah, it's just that little time. And there's one somewhere else. There's like just these little yellow, they're like yellow or white signs. Just say visit LouisianaMo.com. And that's it. And I don't know that anybody knows where those came from.
Okay, I guess I'll figure out a contact that person. Because that needs to be updated.
If they're actually ours, yeah. If it's somebody's personal little project that they decided to take it out.
Support it, yeah.
Well,
It's this website.
I mean,
But
it's so sun-dried. It reminds me of like those sodas that sit out for years and the label gets still.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you think of the idea of possibly as part of tourism that we, at least, oh, I kind of like on the Highway 79 is to build, like, blocks, not concrete blocks, but like you can see them in ours, they have all the patios that come with all these blocks and stuff. Where you build a block, sign holder, and you got a nice big wooden sign that says, "Welcome to Louisiana," or something like that on that entrance way into on Highway 79, and that the city owns that little triangle of land. That's you've got the sewage treatment plant over here, and Highway 79, and over here you've got the old train station, and then there's that little triangle. And where right now they have a sign, but it's the sign that looks like it's ready to heal over.
And be donated possibly to the historical society.
Yeah,
no, yeah.
Is it past, like, closer to town when the campground?
Oh, yeah, it's before you get to the
Is it next to railroad tracks?
Yeah, it's real
Oh,
close to
okay. Are
the
you talking about like this little triangle right there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I knew where you were talking about.
it's that, but there's the train station right there,
Mhm.
and there's that little triangle of land. And on that little triangle, is now
Oh,
there
is that that little like white and green sign is that has like Mason's Rotary, blah, 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 blah. So I wonder if that's their sign, if all the clubs got together.
I don't know. But it looks really depressing.
Adding to your idea, when you were here last time and Liza was here, we had a small amount of enthusiasm. And I actually think this has been a reoccurring thing about enthusiasm, even the Chamber of Commerce. Because I remember when someone, I think my mom actually told me a long time ago, years back when I guess Tiffany was the director of Chamber of Commerce with Nardo, she said that there should be a Momo statue of some kind. And I'll tell you, a couple of the towns that I've been to, there is like that stuff attracts people, and people like to get selfies and stuff. I don't know if that would be like the equivalent of like something like Illinois has like the giant Superman statue, or like or Detroit, Michigan has the Muhammad Ali statue at Cobo Hall.
As the person who drove 200 miles out of their way to go see the world's largest pistachio, people will do it.
The work,
I did. It was a very large pistachio. Somehow their pistachio ice cream sucked, but I still got my picture taken.
I did drive 100 miles out of my way to go to Metropolis, Illinois, to see and go to the Superman convention.
Yeah, no, I've seen the Superman. We were near it though. We didn't go too far away. But I think that would lend to the Americana of our town.
Yes.
To have that. But I do think it would be cool to have one there, just that you see. But how do we figure out how to put one in the middle of Georgia to pull people into spending money in town? That would be.
She said this as a joke. But sometimes great ideas come from the smallest, pieces of humor of the burning moment.
Yeah.
Call me negative, but I doubt the spring fling happens again. But there needs to be something that happens in the spring. Why couldn't we have a burning Momo, like Burning Man convention? We have a burning Momo convention, and that's the theme. And we take a big giant Momo statue out there, and the rest of the year it's out there by the sign. But then during the burning Momo convention, we get those, the fake flame things, the little, that's actually fabric, but it's blown, and then it's got a light on it, so it looks like it's a flame.
Okay.
We get the biggest one we can of that.
Yeah.
And set it up behind it, so that it looks like there's a big flame going behind the Momo statue, and we had the burning Momo convention. And then we do Momo event type stuff in town, like we would for spring fling, with vendors, and we could have a Momo tall tale stage where you come up with many tall tales as about Momo,
Mm,
whether they're true or not. Have a storyteller island, basically, or we could have bands come in, and all you have to do at the stage is have at least one song about Momo.
We could do a Momo make a movie competition.
Yeah,
Or you've got, 44 hours to make your Momo movie.
I like that. So,
yeah,
24-hour film convention.
like an A24 horror movie.
Yeah.
Yes. That's-
But
Yeah,
that's
but do it
the-
to where like you have 24 hours.
just the concept of a burning Momo makes you smile and makes you
Yeah.
laugh. That's a good thing. That's the kind of thing that gets inside people's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm sure.
I think we should kind of toss that around to a few people and see what kind of reaction we get. Say, throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
I guess the only kind of, I mean, I wouldn't take it too seriously, but what if the religious community thinks it's an idealistic sacrifice? You know?
Oh,
They don't have to participate.
I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. But I think what they see is the fun behind it.
But I guess, okay, I don't wanna like create what's called a scope creep, which is adding too much stuff. But I don't know if somebody would be interested in doing this. I think of you in this regard because you seem to like have a passion, or you seem to be involved with all the kind of artistic, stuff. Creativity, you got a lot of creativity, creative ideas. So I've been out to the Lay Center a couple of times, just tying back to the whole thing, and they've had those students out there create those statues, right? But I wonder if there could also be maybe a contest for someone to create a statue from St. Louis University or a specific university. I don't know how you would raffle that, how that would work. But the next thing is, as far as materials, what a statue, is it gonna last a long time? And if it does, would it be bronze, and how much would that cost, and stuff like that?
Well, is that something that we could make that a part of cleaning up town and all these buildings that have fallen down? And whatever you're gonna build with, we get, permission from whoever owns those lots still to say, hey, these guys are gonna come in and get this material from these buildings and then forward, whatnot.
I do know that that's a real concern with maintenance.
Yes.
Paul, I don't know if you ever heard of Paul Jackson, but he's an incredible watercolor artist. Decided that he would, he's done paintings and stuff for the University of Missouri in the past, and they use them as fundraiser and big bucks.
Yeah.
What they sold. But he got into doing mosaics.
Mhm.
And he just did some absolutely exquisite mosaics. He did one called the Tiger's Eye.
Yeah.
And they did it out in front of Lowry Mall. Designed it, had a bunch of kids volunteering to help glue all the mosaics in place, et cetera, et cetera. Only one problem. When it came time for overtime and maintenance and the glue problems, all of a sudden the glue started like loose and the maintenance was absolutely impossible. So if we do a burning Momo, we've got to decide, is it going to be a metal, single flat two-dimensional object like the person has out on Highway 54?
Right.
Or we can actually try to make it into a true statue, and if it's a true statue, then yeah, we're gonna probably have to about some major money, bronze or whatever.
But is that something
From a
that,
maintenance point of view, it just won't stay otherwise.
is that something that we could get donated the material costs and advertise, like, whoever donates it, they get advertisement near it, material, like whatever plaque we put by the statue of sponsored by CNC for the steel, Frank and Ruby for welding it together, like, would we be able to do it that way if whoever donates the materials and the time to build it that we just are able to give a dedication on the plaque?
I would certainly think so. I don't know if we'd go over reasonable money if we're gonna do it. Bronze. Something. Measure. I was just thinking, out, by, Pittsfield, there's this place that sells concrete, yard ornaments, it looks like, of which in those concrete yard ornaments, they have a giant ape, things like that. And it looks like they've got one of them that's sitting there during the thinker's mode. I've really thought about buying it. I really considered putting it out. Building. Except I'm so tired of the cash right now, I can't do it. But I'm wondering, maybe concrete, maybe something like that would be feasible
Yeah,
material to use.
I mean,
Or-
still building out those
You
slip
still
caps and stuff
You
like
gotta have
that.
all the gas, right?
Yeah,
The other possibility is just for the time being, to get the idea started and see if anybody goes for it, is we see if we can get hopefully larger version of what the guy has out on Highway 54, find out where he got it, if it's possibly made himself or where, and just for the first year or two, so we can see whether or not it develops any steam.
I mean, what is to say we don't make it an actual burning Momo that is built out of pallets that we can get for free from anywhere, and we start a giant bonfire in the middle of the riverfront, in the parking lots, we're not catching any trees on fire. It gets built down there, and the fire department's right there to put it out at the end and put it in the river.
Well, for the Burning Momo event, I think that'd be no problem at all. I think it'd be fine. I just think for an advertising vehicle, if we put it out there by the signs of all of this Momo, and then there's a Louisiana sign that we built, and hopefully the sign is nice. And then for the week or two prior to, we've got the lights on it back, it looks like it's, Hawaiian, that would be a great promotion.
Yeah.
Eye-catching promotion vehicle. But as far as an event to have a giant bonfire, I think that would,
What is that? Movie?
Yeah.
That's what I thought Burning Man was as a child. I was like,
Oh, really?
this all the time. Yeah, I was convinced they were the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I say, that the concept has a lot of possible mileage to it.
Yeah.
For fun. If we can see what other people, are thinking, if they go on with it, might be a good replacement for spring cleaning. But in the meantime, for right now, with, Colorfest coming up,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm gonna be doing a radio spot that I know is gonna run on KJFM. I can look and see what other radio stations, what they would charge. So we would have outreach in Quincy, Hannibal, Mexico, and if there's one in Moscow Mills or nearby Moscow Mills. And so that we can run radio. Missouri Live or AAA Traveler, getting an ad in there would be good, but then we gotta, who's gonna design the ad and what are we gonna do with that? If possible, I think that the slogan that we're gonna go with for is small town, big color of fall for Colorfest.
Big color, fall.
Colorfest in Louisiana. Small town, big color of fall.
Okay, and then, okay, so we touched a little bit, or we mentioned some of the events that we have this year. Okay, so, we talked about the statue. I don't know if anybody would want to discuss if we're I don't know how long we've been on time, but, recurring musician recruitment is anything, I think we had discussion a while back, I can't recall the details, but it was something in regards to like, musician recruitment or attraction to bring it on. Okay.
That's something to come back to for
Absolutely.
next summer season.
So I had not designed it because even conceptualizing the idea there's some conflicts because, you were talking about the idea of the billboards and people getting the idea of the has-been and stuff like that. A tourism logo design is something that has crossed my mind, but there's a lot of creativity ideas because if you make a tourism logo, it's like, okay, are we gonna re-promote the riverfront? Are you gonna promote the bus up there on Riverview Park? Can you throw Momo in there? There's all these little things about the town, but which one takes precedence? And like, do you wanna make it, that there's something called flat design that a lot of companies are going towards. And flat design is just like, oh, we're trying to make it safe. We don't wanna, we wanna be trendy too. We don't wanna be unique and be ostracized, right? So what are your guys' idea for a tourism logo?
I think we really need to combine it with the city logo in some way.
Okay.
So that the logos, complement each other enough so that they're constantly reaffirming each other. So that we're not just going to completely separate directions.
I agree, but I think if we are gonna go towards doing sponsorship of other events in other towns and things like that, we're gonna need a single color logo. Something simple that can be printed on t-shirts, koozies, banners, things like that. Whereas the current city logo with all of the buildings and the river and wheel and everything else that's on it is a lot.
I would think it would keep the wheel and the font of Louisiana, Missouri.
Mhm.
That's probably the most important elements of that design. I'm just looking at here.
Right.
Very small thumbnail.
Yeah,
Adding to that, I can see, but I'm not sure exactly what we would do to add to it. Even a sunburst or something like that on it, that would then coordinate with the wheel
yeah,
and possibly get the idea of summer vacations and going places.
yeah. I mean, even like the Hannibal one, Mark Twain, and then write your own story. That's from Visit Hannibal.
And I just didn't know if the author of that specific amendment is such a significant figure here that would go on the logos. That's why I brought him up as an example, because I feel like people know more about Momo, I think, than anything, but could be wrong.
Well, and I
No,
just,
I think you're probably right.
I hesitate to use the wheel because like, yes, we are a town on the river, but I don't feel like currently we are not a river town. And so I think using the wheel makes us seem like a river town the way that Hannibal is. And we're not, we're just a town on the river, right?
The only problem that I see is the fact that the city did go with that. I mean, honestly, I wasn't involved at that point. I don't know when they chose that. I would have probably not wanted that logo for that reason, very reason, is that, yeah, that's kind of signifying that we're this river town. You're right, we're on the river, but we're not a river town.
Right, I mean, we just had somebody in from Texas and she called us 2 days ago and said, oh, do I need to bring my bathing suit because you're a river town? And we're like, no, leave it at home.
You don't really want to swim in Mississippi.
Right, we just need to think hopping towards the river. But that does confuse people who don't know that.
Right. So I agree. That's why I'm not really big on that logo, but at the same point in time, I do know that we need to be doing things that,
Or at least the
Homogeneous.
right, so that we get as much value and as much impact as we can, so that we aren't going in multiple different directions. That's why
Brand consistency.
Right, brand consistency. That's why the small town, big ideas, big celebration, big opportunities. I want to keep trying to bring that home for many groups, whether it's the community betterment or whether it's the Chamber of Commerce or anybody else, please use that phrase.
Yeah.
So that we can, at some point in time, I'm hoping that we can do ads in St. Louis business journals and things like that, that's talking about small town, big opportunity. Well, we
Is
got-
this L in the middle of it, is that a town logo or anything? Is that that little L with the olive branches? Or is that just decorative?
No, I think that is supposed to be for Louisiana, but then it could be for Lions Club too. It's just not, it's not as defined as it ought to be. That's why I say that the main thing is that the wheel and Louisiana, Missouri are the big parts of it.
Well, because from what I was seeing, just as someone who takes a lot of logos and makes them very simple, keeping this big font and this light blue and the navy blue colors, I think would keep a lot of that consistency
Right.
with being able to pull it down. And if that means, using some kind of wheel as the O, something like that. Be like, yeah, no, it's in it, but it's a more simplified version.
Or do we, like I said, we could put a sunrise behind it or something like that, kind of get the idea of vacation. We could make, how about a tire, car tire or something like that that we can use in there somewhere, get the idea of people traveling. And I'm truly just brainstorming here, just
Yeah.
throwing stuff out. What do we do to try to, if we're gonna take this and make it into a tourism logo and yet try to incorporate that into it so that we
Right.
are building upon, not going separate directions.
Right.
Could that center where the gold is, could that be a sunrise right in there? Or could we possibly make the outside wheel into a car tire? Or would that be too silly?
Now, would the sunrise be a throwback to the land of the Golden Hills? They used to call that, they used to say that about this
That
town.
used to be the slogan, yeah.
Travel, celebrations, fun, Color Fest. This Color Fest and Momo is really at this point in time, two big things that people know Louisiana for.
Okay,
I want to say that this is something I could work on because it is in my wheelhouse, but yeah, it's so busy right now. I cannot make that promise.
Well, also, it's probably not something that needs to be done immediately. What needs to be done immediately is to get radio spots out about Color Fest and get and add that in place. And, Missouri Live for Color Fest. That's probably
yes.
the most pressing thing that need to happen.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I will make a generic temporary logo just to inform that this is an identity. It's just gonna be support. And that will just be a temporary thing. And then one day we come with all the creativity and stuff goes with it. That will be a logo. That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
If there's any way to do that and combine it with that Louisiana, Missouri. Do you have that?
I have the high quality one.
Yeah, can you send that?
Yes.
That'd be great. Just to play around with. It's not that really not as pressing as getting the other things done, but yeah, we gotta by ourselves somehow.
I like your argument of ink though, something that's straightforward to them, because everything have less to just get it out there, so I understand that.
Yeah, it's gotta be something that we can simplify down to that nth degree, and we can always add back into it when it comes to digital or printing in
Yeah.
color, but I don't want us to come to that instance of, oh, we've sponsored the bike rally in Moscow Mills and they wanna put us on their t-shirt and we have nothing.
Yes,
You know what I mean? I'd rather have that already and be able to build that back out.
Well, even a starburst, not a sunrise, but a starburst. Because you can, that will go back to a gray and white design.
Mhm.
And it would also colorize pretty easily with lots of different colors in the starburst.
Right.
And we could put that behind that wheel. So that would work for Colorfest.
can you make us a draft?
I'm not saying that it's the very good idea.
Hey, you're manifesting something.
Right. Something.
Cheryl,
Like I said, we gotta work for what we got, and what we got is a logo that doesn't really say who we are. But then again, that's what we got.
two events. I don't know if you guys want to table this or not, so discussion of Christmas parade. It says conservative citizens or community betterment. I think they have something to do with the Christmas parade, so I'll know if we want to table that for now.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be better, so this is great.
Okay.
But, yeah,
We can table it for now and whenever you just put it in the notes for me to look up last year's, where we advertised that, because I still get the emails for some of the like regional Christmas advertisements they put out of, what to do this season. And I can look through those and see where we want to advertise that.
I'm not a print person. I'll be glad to do the radio, plan on doing it anyway. But if we're gonna do anything for Missouri Life, volunteers for doing print right now.
I can look into that. Because I'll make up a ColorFest ad that works for print as well as for us to be able to put on Facebook and run any kind of online ads. I'll just make sure it's something that'll work across both.
In fact, I was supposed to be right. Meeting.
Okay, and then what about these home tours and haunted tours? These Fishery open?
I think we should promote that too, but that's definitely more, in my mind, a radio spot or a Facebook. I don't see that as a print.
No, I don't know if they're still here. I mean, I know they did the Christmas home tours, but I don't know if anybody's still doing the Halloween timeframe haunted tours.
Don't know. Last year, we were available at Christmas tours, at the very last minute, that said, hey, we can't not do that, do it. And so I think within like 2 to 3 weeks, it went from not going to selling tickets. So I, for one, really hope that they don't, because I think there's so many really great houses. I think it's still
Strangers' homes.
amazing.
Also, I can pay money and I just get to walk around your house. This is great.
It's like the Moss's house up here, which is, they're really the Civil War history, etc. Their house is just, it's a museum by itself. I mean, it's private. I just said, you're going inside.
No, but it's not awesome.
Oh, if they have tours again, if they're on the list, gotta go. It's worth spending money for the house tour just to see that one house. It's just.
It's a good question.
First time I saw it, I went most of the time to the house one.
Well, would one of you, would you like to get a hold of Susan and get some
And
information?
find out about house tours or haunted house.
I guess if, or I mean, just either or, so we can kind of get a gist of it. If that's historically been a part of our tours and we want something that would be great.
We'll reach out.
And I don't know if she knows or maybe Brooke has.
Yeah, I don't know if Brooke's been involved with the home tours.
And at this point, she's just overwhelmed with all of us. They are not. Good for this committee, council, and everything she tried.
I think I went to.
I think that may be possibly being worked at the same besides legal matter, so let's see. This is all maybe circular.
Do it.
Don't you hate that when you're like, oh, I finally showed up?
Should have gone to all that.
So, something that you brought up here last meeting was the Vinyl Color Festival, billboard.
Oh,
Does that ring any bells?
yes. So our plan was that for that billboard that's on where 54 in Georgia.
Mhm.
Go together. That one that says visit Louisiana Mall.
Yeah.
Was to switch that out for a Color Fest one. I think at like the beginning of October. With just something that's just for Color Fest that would
That would be great.
go up for that month with like a big fat arrow and turn now, don't miss
Yeah,
it, get
right.
on over.
Absolutely, that would be great.
Yeah, I think that was the plan. I can find out, 'cause I don't know if we already purchased that vinyl, as in like, we paid them the money, but it hasn't been printed yet. Or if we had just budgeted for that second vinyl. I will find out though.
Now, if we spend the money to get on radio in Quincy and Hannibal and Mexico and Moscow Mills, we get radio on that. We definitely want to have signage once they get here.
Right. Right, turn, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
Well, and I think it would be best to do it there to get people to go all the way down Georgia. That way, even if, they can't last all day at Color Fest, they've already seen what's at the other end of town and they can go, oh, hey, we passed that Mexican place.
That's right.
Oh, hey, we passed Casey's, they know what else is down there, or, oh, my kid
That's the
got hit
interest
with
of
a,
it. Not at the bridge, but
right, on that end,
right.
yeah.
No, that's
Or,
the
oh, my kid
one.
got ketchup all over him, and go to Dollar General, they already know where that is.
Right.
I'll find out what that cost looks like, cause they made that design as well, that's already up there. And I don't think it was that much more to just have them design the billboard. And then we were able to give them notes and everything on it too, cause whatever they first said back was odd.
Do send me the high-res version of that.
Absolutely.
I added my notes to look at high-res logo.
Oh, we got a lot covered in this. Impressive.
What is the official name that we're gonna say, sponsored by Louisiana Tourism Commission, Tourism Committee, Tourism? What is the
Are
official,
we officially?
what are we?
So,
The tourism yahoos.
Right.
so there has been,
How's that passing cats?
there has been, just my opinion, unless I'm uninitiated in some like, the actual legal name or statute, whatever, tourism, but like, I've seen throughout the years, they've had like the Louisiana, I think it's like Convention Bureau or something like that.
Yeah, that was the Louisiana Visitors Convention
Yeah.
Bureau. That was that, when we were LVCB, that was the corporate name for that.
Okay,
Because LVCB was a separate corporation.
and then what is the official name?
I think based on what I have, it's Tourism Commission
Okay, tourism.
is what we are currently.
Not committee, but commission.
I think so, now that we're brought entirely back under city faction. Because when we were LVCB, we were contracted by the city to be a committee. But I think now that we're fully appointed by the city, we're.
There's a part of it that must actually, we're gonna say, Louisiana Tourism
Yeah. Yeah, is there anything to stop us from saying, like, whenever we're advertising on our own behalf, that we're just using Visit Louisiana Mo? Like,
It shouldn't because,
like, we're not doing business.
No.
So it's not, anything legally binding, we just,
It's visit LouisianaMo.com.
that was our old website.
It's visitLAMO.com.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
soon
I
as
mean, in theory, we could make ourselves cool like Como.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I was trying to
And
go.
so,
for, too.
yeah, if we wanna go with just visit LA Mo, is that how we represent ourselves? I think that's fine. So you gonna make a lame of it?
No, I was just thinking LMAO, which is versus LMNO. That's, maybe there's some way to twist that in.
So I'm
I'm
gonna,
fine with it. I mean, if that's how we wanna represent ourselves, I think that makes.
Well, it's probably not the way. So,
any publicity to publicity, right? Okay, not really, the seventh one's not really that super important at the moment, but the eighth one, I guess, is a concern. So we had talked about this last time when Liza was here, and it had something to do with, the remaining flyers or what we're gonna do with that, I guess, flyers in general in the neighborhood, do we deliver them? Or create some kind of posters, but I think you were saying that maybe, and this ties into the tourist billboard out there as well, that needs some good TLC. We were talking about maybe making a map and then, or something, but then also more importantly, having a QR code, because it's just a waste of money to get one flyer, right? But we have boxes of stuff in the basement, we don't know what to do with that either. So,
And we have, what, 5 flyer boxes around town that probably need to be refilled.
Hmm.
Cause I know there's one right next to my building, there's one down at the riverfront, there's one at Sunset Park, I think there's one at the baseball field.
what flyer?
They're like little trifold brochures.
No, I don't see.
and they could,
There's different ones, there's ones for the cemetery, there's the walking tours, there's a bunch of different ones.
and they could probably use, maybe in the future we could, I mean, unless it's gonna cost money, but let's just say that they're not the most up to date. But some of them are still relevant, but I would go see it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think instead of updating them, but we just get them back out and get them rotating and see what people are taking and say, okay, if that one's going, then we need to make that an entire page on our website and that gets, more
And
attention.
That would be the one that we update.
Right.
Okay.
I know watching the one next to our house, there's only one left. I don't remember what it was, but it seemed like the rest of them all kind of went on the same time.
Okay, I don't have anything else.
How could I get a couple? I can get a copy of these.
There should be boxes of basement that I could find. There might actually be some.
If you run across a couple of them, throw them in my little mailbox there. Yeah,
That would be good.
So did we figure out what the budget is looking like?
I think our budget, if I did not misunderstand, I think it's at 10%. I think that's what the consultant says. And if that doesn't seem like a confident answer, I could call the treasurer right now and ask.
Yeah, I feel like we should have a lot more than $10,000 in our bank account.
Is it $10,000 to our budget or $10,000 to what we have in our bank?
Okay.
I would like clarification on
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Because we-
billboard.
We budgeted for $34,000 to be spent between August 23 and May of 24. That's the last budget I'm able to pull out. So if we only have $10,000 currently, and considering we've been on a spending freeze for the last 6 months, that is very concerning. That's why I want them receipts.
Because I mean, you think about, we need to do something about the Highway 79 entrance sign. That's $4,000 or $5,000 right there.
Right.
And then you've got the billboard out here for ColorFest, and I don't know whether we pay for that or not, but I think that's an absolute necessity. That we
Yeah.
need to have. I think you're absolutely right on that idea. And number 3, KJFM is very kind, and it's giving us free airtime, but these other stations won't.
Right.
And we need to spend at least $1,000 there, possibly. So you're talking $10,000 right there. The
Right.
nation's ColorFest.
So wait, what do you, how much money did you quote for 79?
I'm thinking. Redo a block, nice permanent blocks and the wood, either on that wood by an artist or engraved in that block and that wood so that it's stained out a little bit, maybe $4,000 or $5,000.
Wow, yeah, that seems excessive. I want to do research on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because even the vinyl for the one on. Just let's see one if I'm reading this correctly. A new vinyl would be $700. Just over, so.
The blocks part of it, I figured is probably gonna be about 1,500 just for the blocks. Build it looks nice. And, you said it'll sign itself.
So would this be in some kind of competition, like the quality of the murals that we have in town? The presentation of it, like, does it last through all the elements of the letters?
Right, to be a permanent long-term, hopefully, at least 5 years. But it'd be some, when you drive into Winsville, Winsville Park, there's a really nice one. In Winsville, where it's a decorative block. I think there's it's actually, concrete sign that says Winsville.
Okay.
I don't think we can probably afford to have this forms, not the sign. But
Okay, I don't see anything else unless you guys want to do a vote on, because we have to we have to approve the website hosting and then we have to send it out. Right? Is that right?
Yes, we have to, right? Yeah, we have to approve it amongst ourselves. Or at least approve to take it to council.
And I will say this real quick. So I got used to it. I built the WordPress website and all that stuff. I built it up. So I went ahead and just paid out of my own pocket for a month because there weren't a lot of WordPress free friendly places where I could just experiment and called it for them. And so I got something up and running. I'll show it sometime, but what I need to do is once the hosting's approved, the council approves that, then I can take that domain name and connect them together and then the website will be live. And then I can start knocking stuff out and then I'll have you guys come and say, hey, this looks terrible, fix it, I'll fix it, and they'll do it.
well, I can't vote, but if I could, I'd say yes, let's.
Yeah, I'm happy with that delegation as it states, and then
Okay.
you know,
We need to get that funded and approved by the council.
Yes.
I'll certainly, once it's in the council, I'll vote for it.
Okay, so there are 3 hosting options that popped up and basically there's a bunch of statistics that are just sales pitches and stuff and they just kind of over glorify and stuff, but the important thing is actual storage itself and traffic are the 2 things, because if you go over some traffic, it'll go to additional. So I don't know that, because we've had this constant influx in Louisiana with, brand consistency and stuff, I don't see us getting over 100,000 visits a month. I think we probably popped out 13K visits just UVN.com. But then again, that's a non-business entity. And so if people are looking for something to do, they might, it's hard to predict traffic. So,
right,
for a 12-month plan, if you break it down, so there's hostinger.com, and that's a 12-month plan. I think it's $47.88 a year if you do a 12-month plan that has 200 gig storage. I'm not uploading videos to it will just eat the storage up. Instead, I think I'll just upload the videos to Instagram and then just embed them onto the website because Instagram can charge anything for videos. And then there's bluehost.com, which is $65. You divide that, it's $5.45 a month for 12 months. So $65.46 total. It only has 50 gigs of storage. I have to double check on the WordPress thing though. And then, which I think, yeah, the hosting.er.com has the WordPress. That's what I use to build the site. And the final one is called A2 Hosting. It's $71.40, $5.95 a month, 12 months. They claim to have unlimited storage, money back guarantee, backups, but they do not specify if they have WordPress or not. WordPress is the thing that is the go-to for people who don't want to get into serious coding. They just want to put stuff together like Lego blocks. So out of those, I would say hostingpr.com is the cheapest.
Was it the other thing you needed to do?
I believe so, yeah. And
And then say that?
okay. So I
I
vote,
think it's the best I'll still for.
Yeah, I think we can run that and see what that traffic builds and what we want out of that website and what people are able to get out of it. And then if when that contract comes due again, we can say, hey, we're actually using this more, we'd like this feature, that feature, you know, whatever, we can change it.
okay.
And I mean, most everything you can add into it later anyway, you know, we decide.
And they were the ones that offered what, 200 gigabytes?
Yeah, let me just make sure,
That's a lot.
before I,
It would be for, yeah, that.
okay, they might have, let's see, I hope they didn't. Okay, yeah, so it's still, if you sign up for the business plan, it's 100, yeah, 200 gigabytes of NVMe storage, which is called solid state technology, and then free, you know, okay, yeah, it's managed WordPress, it's a website that we call. So yeah, it's good. I want to make sure that it changes before we forever see what they. Okay, let me rephrase that. So sometimes they, depending on the market, stuff. So if we vote on this today, it says it's $4 a month, I believe, oh yeah, 12 months, but it will renew at $11.99 a month on this day.
So we get it for $4 a month for the whole first year.
$4 a month for yeah, $3.99 a month for 12 months straight after 12 months. That's $11.99.
That's their teacher rate.
So
Are you required for it?
I mean, the way that I look at it is that you could just, because here's the thing, the domain's a more important thing. We can swap those all day long. What I would do is on the 11th month, I would just, I would download the whole WordPress thing, take it out, and I could just take that WordPress and stuff.
Right. I'd say, have we paid or registered the domain name? So
I already got the domain. I just want to.
yeah, and I say we should get the domain name and we should probably try to lock in that domain name for extended period.
Yes.
5 years or whatever.
Okay. All right, so, all right, you're in favor of that? Okay. All right,
Committee, can you say? Yeah. Neither can I.
you're just a good look, Sean.
But I will later on.
Yeah. We could vote on the second round.
Yeah, the second pass.
Okay, does anybody have anything else I left out or?
are you good to present that to council in one fashion or another to get that approved?
Yeah, I could,
Or do we need approval? It's only $47.
but it's a contract, right?
Yeah. You probably should run it past 10 because considering past history, let's just.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, I would run it. I'm just not sure that it has to go to council.
It may not have to go to council, but at least run it past.
Yeah.
Okay. Then this meeting is adjourned.
We probably should do that.
Come on, it's fun. It's gonna be